this episode, we will learn a bit more about the feeding habits of the moose. But first, Sarah and Jon have to share some very, very sad news with us.
Yes, Emily. That's the worst part to have animals is that most of the time everything is wonderful, but there's always also sad episodes in our lives. In the last episode you all met Gustav, our big friendly bull in Virum. Some time ago he got an injury in his back leg. He was not putting weight on his right foot. This sometimes happens, but then it will be better in a week or less time. But his injury didn't. Usually when they got injured, it's a sharp object or a small stone to get stuck in the glove. Normally the problem goes away itself after a few days, but it didn't go away. Our vet Anina came together with our friend Claes. Claes is a very experienced zoolog, and he have helped us to sedate large animals before, so the veterinarian can check them out without no risk of injury.
Vi kan inte se att när vi är på anläggningen. Och prata framåt, Gustav är lite på nära.
Unfortunately, there was no visual injury to Gustav's foot or his leg. But by that time, the problem seemed to have gotten worse. So it was clear that something was wrong, although we did not know what.
We decided to call in a specialized vet who can take an X-ray out in the woods from Gustav's hind leg to see if there was any injury. Taking these X-rays is not so simple. It requires specialized equipment and very strict safety measures.
Jon assisted, and he and the veterinarian had to wear special protective aprons. The film crew and I had to stay about 50 meters away. Here we see the result, but again, no visible problems could be detected. By this time, we were really getting worried. The problem got worse every day and could not be treated.
It was clear that our dear friend was in pain. In the wild, an injured moose get weaker and weaker until they can't not feed themselves anymore. They die of starvation or fall prey for other predators like wolves or bears. But Gustav was in our care. And we had to take a very, very hard decision.
We loved Gustav very much, and it was really hard to let him go. But I'm sorry. But that's your responsibility when you care for an animal, to let them go when the time comes, and not to let them suffer.
Gustav was the moose who made it possible for us to take over the park. He was always very nice and usually the one who first came to us when we go into the park. Could stand in half an hour just beside us and got scratched behind his ears even if we didn't have potatoes. If we had potatoes he could stay hours. We will never forget him, and the calves that will be born this year will all be offsprings of him. So we hope that his kind nature and his wonderful personality will live on in them. It's very terrible when you lose a friend like Gustav. But you can never forget that you have more animals and more friends that are in need of your assistance. The life still goes on. We need to take care of them.
The work never stops.
No.
As Sarah said, the work in the park goes on, no matter what. And feeding the animals is a daily task for Jon and Sarah. Moose are herbivores who eat twigs, bark, leaves, pine cones and shrubs. The word moose actually comes from a Native American language and translates into English as eater of twigs. Every day, Jon and Sarah cut fresh branches for them. And their diet is complemented with pellets, which contain all the additional nutrients they need. And, like Swedish people, they love potatoes. Although in the park they have no shortage of food during winter, they still eat less and rely partly on the fat reserves they built up in summer. This is more efficient than foraging for food in the snow. Here, Jon is cutting down an asp. For the moose, the bark of this tree is a real treat. The moose only eat the small twigs and leaves from the branches. So, from time to time, Jon has to clean up the leftovers.
I'm sorry everyone that this episode wasn't such a happy one, but you know, that's life. And we really hope that the next episode will be a bit more...
Happy?
Yeah, a bit more happy. And we actually have some happy news that we will
Share to you.
in the next episode. So until then, lots of moose greetings from Sweden. Hej då!
Hej då!
Please support Sarah and Jon and like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, hej då!